Hi there, Kim Coles here, and it is time for another great interview with another great author in the Wisdom Gifts book. Today, we're going to be talking to Starr Shantal R, and she's going to be talking about triumphs and a little extra magic that you're about to hear about. Stay tuned. Let's talk a little bit about you and how you have become triumphant.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, first I have to say, Kim, it's just such a blessing to be a part of this beautiful project and just, along with all the other ladies and the beautiful stories, that spell out wisdom gifts. A little bit about me that stands out right now is the past 2 years. I've really gone through a transformation process from working as a first responder, a 911 police emergency dispatcher for 26 years, that took a toll. And now just kind of being early retired from that and now able to delve into transformational projects and just being around beautiful people of light and love like yourself. I'm living my best life and I'm
Oh,
thankful.
you know something? I have to admit something to you. I, for the first time in this moment, after hearing you describe your past job, just in this moment, I realized why you didn't want to lead with that for your chapter. Because I was trying to get you. I don't know if you remember this. Really was just mesmerized by the 911 work, by being an operator, by, having your calm and soothing voice on the end of someone else calling in where they're in danger or they're in concern, and what that was like for you and how you were able to help people. It just hit me why you may not have wanted to open that up right now. So I want to apologize for for being curious and wanting to know more about that world. And maybe one day you'll talk about it, because you'd always say, oh, I've got a lot of stories to share. And I was like, share them. Maybe not, because you needed to
Yeah.
go through your own transformation. So I want to just really let you know how much I admire you for celebrating yourself enough to know what the right timing would be for you. So thank you for that. I learned something just now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a huge healing process. And the journey, God, well, number one, I'm a strong believer in the Lord for 39 years this past September 11th, 9/11. And I am just, thrilled at the journey that God has me walking out this transformative part of my life now after all of the experiences that I have, and to be able to enjoy special moments with you and with Dr. EJ, a part of the book club, a part of the coach. All of it is just out of the park.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
you now, to me, representing that phrase that we hear all the time, you don't look like your journey, right? You don't look like your journey. And I just want to really, again, uh, just shine a light on how we can take on our transformation so powerfully. So let's talk a little bit about your journey. And I know that you talk about betrayal and that you've experienced betrayal, and what has helped you to overcome these moments of betrayal, these stacked up moments of betrayal.
Having the love that Jesus portrayed all through the Bible, or well, basically the New Testament when he got here. And, everything from the woman at the well, how he was so tender and loving to her. She was an outcast and she was at the well, and just everything that she had been through, he had told her about herself. And she felt so good and she went and told other people. And basically, I can just share that, between the woman at the well and then the woman with the issue of blood, she was bleeding for 12 years. And she knew if she could just get to Jesus and touch the hem of his garment, that she would be made whole. All during that whole 3.5 year period that Jesus walked around preaching and everything, he knew he had straight haters. He knew he was going to be betrayed. but the love that he showed, the focus that he kept, continuing on about his father's business, the one that sent him. So that's how I got through a lot of the different betrayals that I have experienced, in my life. 27 years married, and um, getting ready to go through a divorce.
I don't know if I should say I'm sorry to hear it, or as somebody who's been divorced twice, I will say that you and I both know that there's another transition to go through and something else that will emerge on the other side. And one of the things I really like about you, Starr, is you have this beautiful ability to have the vision and prepare yourself as you
Yeah,
can for what's to come, and that you have the courage to go through it, because so
yeah,
many of us have betrayals and have pain and have problems and have disappointments and curl up and just go, that's it. But I know that you keep moving forward, and you are a beautiful example of somebody who also wants to help other people get through these things too.
yes.
So let's talk about, well, okay, I can't not do this interview without asking you about the shofar. So let me just ask that and get that out my system. So you are a shofar blower.
Yes, I am.
How is that a part of your faith and a part of your journey?
Um, well, I'm gonna see if I could blow it really quick. I have lipstick on, but I just want to blow because my prayer partner Risa said if she asks you about that shofar again, you better blow it.
Go, so go for it. Wait a minute now. So for those who don't know what the shofar is, can you explain it to us and explain its meaning and its meaning in your life?
Yes, its meaning in my life represents victory. It represents, just like where the Bible says, blow the trumpet in Zion and sound the alarm. I really do live in a city called Zion, and I
Wow.
really am a trumpet blower, a shofar blower. A shofar blower is a special messenger from God with skin on. Now, you can see angels or different angelic pictures, and you always see them, proclaiming. Well, what we are is we are messengers, we are pronouncers, we are making the way, preparing the way for the Lord in a special way because we look human. I mean, we are human, but we just different because who carries a shofar, in the 2024. And actually, when I ran for city council in Zion, I actually blew the shofar walking in the parade with the shofar. That's just how strong the belief is now. It applies to me because it represents angels being dispatched to help you when that sound is released. Nehemiah in the Bible, he was the king's cupbearer. Nehemiah was very troubled when he heard that the walls in the city of Jerusalem was in such ruins, and so he basically God put it in he was a king's cupbearer back in that day, and he had the favor of the king to go and help rebuild the city walls. But what he would have to do, because those people that went with him to build the city wall, they to rebuild the city wall, they had haters. Sanballat and a whole bunch of people had put false accusations out there about them, and he was really going through. So, to make a long story short, they would have a sword in one hand and a brick in the other as they successfully rebuilt that wall. But get this strategy tip: Nehemiah knew, because he was a believer, as I am. He was like, whenever you hear the sound of the shofar, and he would point to the shofar blower to blow his shofar, that means that our God shall fight for us. And yes, so many stories of
I
victory,
see. I see.
Jericho, but
Had it,
yes.
I didn't even tell you to bring it this time. I'm glad you did. Thank you. Let's talk a bit about, and I've heard you talk about this before, and I would like the audience to hear what it means to be a cultural phenomenon and what it means for Starr to step into the experience of being a cultural phenomenon. And thank you for explaining that part of the culture for us.
Oh, yes, thank you. Well, a cultural phenomenon is like yourself, Kim Coles. Myself and my generation, I know, get excited about you because it was living single and then it was friends and it was all these different things that was going on TV. But that was being a cultural phenomenon, relating with culture and helping just start it's influence. Cultural phenomenon is what people like and what people pay attention to. They may wear their hair like yours or might wear your outfits or like you, Sinclair, woo woo woo. Who doesn't know that?
Well, I'll ask you, how do you plan on being a cultural phenomenon?
Thank you so much. I plan on being a cultural phenomenon. I believe that I am a cultural phenomenon because when I served as that police dispatcher for all those years, I was never a robot. I was a human being listening to those cries and dispatching the officers into danger and just everything surrounding that. So now I get to write about it all. I get to give not only a bird's eye view, but I get to create characters and write about them in my books and just share about them in so many ways that I'm looking forward to not only being a bestseller, but a speaker to audiences inside the schools, a speaker to women in tough situations. A cultural phenomenon meets a need, but is culturally relevant and inspiring. And that's what I'm looking forward to being in a nutshell.
Maybe even with the shofar in hand. I love it.
Yes, yes.
Let's talk also about there's this phrase I've heard you use before, and I would love the audience to know about the Generation X factor. Now, I love that you come up with these terms for things you understand, things you created, and then you put it out in the world. What does Generation X factor mean?
Well, I was born in 1968, and my youngest grandson was born in 2022. Now, I am able to influence his generation. I enjoy babysitting him. I enjoy spending time with him. In fact, one of my first children's book will be on Super Baby because that little boy is a super baby. I mean, how high he can get up on things, just if you turn your eyes for one moment, how he's grabbing things, but he's a super baby. And so I'm looking forward to writing children's books to help him understand Sunday school lessons of old that children today are missing out on. But
Mhm.
because I am the Generation X factor, speaking to grandbabies like my grandson all over the world, I'm looking forward to being multi-generationally communicating and communicative to them. And Generation X Factor has the influence. We can go between the different generations. I mean, it's not it's not a happenstance that you're from a famous 90s sitcom that in 2024 is still relevant and still exciting.
So even as a baby boomer, I'm on the tail end of the baby boom. So I'm holding hands with the Generation X right there because I'm 62. So all right, so together we can understand these generational changes and bridge the gap. So that's what you're doing. I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
That in the world.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would want to share with the audience? Something from your journey, some lesson, some wisdom? We know that you're in the Wisdom Gifts book, and you'll have to read her chapter to understand and learn how she really looks at triumph and her triumphs and teaches others to do the same. But is there some tidbit that you'd like to share with us about how we can overcome and become triumphant in our lives?
Yes. Well, I do share in my chapter at the end that is 7 daily habits that I call GOAT habits that really helps me stay on track, even though I may feel like giving up emotionally or physically sometimes. But perseverance, determination, supernatural identity, discipline, humility, faith, and eternal life will get you through to the other side, and you will be triumphant.
Oh, I love that. Means that people are going to have to pick up the book and they're going to have to read your chapter in order to get
Yes.
those 7 nuggets of the way of being, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
I do love when you talk about supernatural identity. Do you just have, one quick explanation of supernatural identity that you'd like to share with us? Because that's the one that really stood out, because that's the one that I don't know what that means. Do tell.
Sure, sure. Supernatural identity is what's going to last with us forever. Beyond being a woman, beyond being a man, your supernatural identity is what God knows and what will be with you forever. And so my supernatural identity helps me know that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And also, I am in this world, but not of it. I do have I really do have angels protecting me. I really do have miraculous things that happen when I'm around. And supernatural identity is being special, being chosen by God, being aware of God, and then grasping in knowing that one day this physical body is going to go away, but the supernatural identity always remains.
That sounds like luscious, lovable legacy ever. Thank
Oh,
you so much, Starr. Thank you for the shofar.
yeah,
Thank you
yes.
for coming this far on this journey, and we have miles and miles to go. Thank you so much for saying yes to this experience, and I can't wait to see how many people really get affected and enjoy your view of the world. Thank you so much for being a beautiful messenger. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes.
So I'm so glad that Starr brought her shofar. She's been talking about it when we've been having our meetings, and now I got a chance to share that with all of you. Wasn't that great? We learned a lot about her point of view and some of her insights, and I enjoyed it very much. And I really enjoyed the shofar blow. Thank you for bringing it, Starr, and thank you for sharing it with the world. All right. See you next time.